Alright, so it's been a long time since I made a video, and I'm just kind of slowly getting back into doing this, and there isn't going to be any playing on this one or anything. I'm kind of just starting getting back into playing again and getting used to things and that sort of thing. It's been, I'd say, about a year and a half or so. It's been a long time. And pretty much what I've done since I haven't been doing videos, I've been working on like a lot of my own music and that sort of thing. 'Cause that's just kind of what I wanted to do. It wasn't really a plan. It just sort of ended up that way. And it's funny because, like the same pitfalls that have been around forever when you do original music, I kind of fell right back into them. I don't know. I guess I just wasn't really like thinking about what the outcome would be or that sort of thing. And it kind of, I kind of got a reality check as of late doing that. So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. And I think it's something that really anyone can relate to who, makes their own music, writes, produces, performs, whatever. Anyway, things with AI and all of the fake music that's going around, TikTok, Instagram, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not even really talking about the people who are like miming or pretending to play. I don't really care about any of that stuff. I mean, to me, I don't watch any of that. So it doesn't make a difference to me either way, as far as somebody pretending to be some virtuoso and they're not or whatever. I don't really care much about like the technical side of music anymore. I really don't. As I've gotten older and stuff, it's more about writing and coming up with something that somebody else may want to listen to. And covers are obviously the easiest way to, I guess, kind of get attention online and that sort of thing. But even when you put a cover into a search bar, you come up with hundreds, if not thousands, of videos that are already out there. And sometimes it's like me, like I just don't feel like doing it right now. I don't feel like playing somebody else's music. I want to play my own, to where you're that guy who every time you pick up the guitar, you're playing the Van Halen riff from 42 years ago or whatever. It gets kind of tiring doing that. You want to do your own thing. And the thing is like you realize that music has almost kind of become a background thing for people. Like there isn't really the excitement that there used to be around it. When people think of like music, there's got to be something else with it. There's got to be a video with it. There's got to be some sort of video game going on, or there's got to be some sort of excitement. There has to be a visual with it. So that's another thing. It's like you're agonizing over this song that takes weeks, months to write, record, whatever, and it's like, well, people kind of really don't care anyway, because there's the other part of it where there's nostalgia, where people want to hear what they already know. They want to hear something from the 80s or 90s or whatever. So that's like another strike against you. And there's also the algorithm that comes into play, which is the algorithm is going to push whatever is already popular. So like somebody like me, who no one really knows who I am, they're not going to push my music. Unless it ends up somewhere accidentally, or somebody puts it on a TikTok or something, and somebody may say, what song is that, or whatever. It's one of those things where myself, along with one of my ex-bandmates, we spent, I'd say probably, not 2 years, but I recorded my parts for the song like 2 years ago. And we spent the past few months like with mixes and masters and going back and forth and that sort of thing. And it's like you get that reality check where once you upload to wherever you're putting it, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever, and this song, you think you really outdid yourself this time. It sounds really good. You're happy with it, all that kind of stuff, and you get like 11 views. And that reality check hits you again. It's like, yeah, like no one cares about this stuff. And it's weird when you're in a predicament where you want to continue doing it. Like you still want to do it. It's for your own personal growth, gratification, keeping you busy, that sort of thing. You get some sort of enjoyment out of it. You've been playing for a long time. You like doing this, but at the same time, there's that part at the end of the creative process to where it's like, well, other people are going to hear it, or other people are supposed to hear it. There's supposed to be the audience feedback and that sort of thing. And it's like nothing. Nothing happens, so that's really, one of the issues with it. The thing is too, it's like you figure to yourself, well, I want some of my own music to be played. Like if I'm spending all this money, I'm spending all this time playing and everything, shouldn't I be doing some of my own things? Shouldn't I be creating some of my own instead of just copying someone else or just imitating someone else? So that's like another reason why you want to continue doing it, even though there's just this massive downside to it, to where it's not really the best use of time, I guess you could say. There's a million other productive things that you could be doing. I saw this Joe Bonamassa, it was like an interview or a clip, I don't remember where it was from, but he said something like, sometimes he sits around and he plays and he says to himself, maybe I should be doing something else with my time. Now this is a person who is a pro, who makes tons of money doing this, and even he is saying that. So it kind of makes you think twice about this sort of thing, and you're saying to yourself, well, it's a waste of time for him, then what is it for me? So that's another concern there. I mean, one of the things that can also happen though, which is a good thing, is you could put something out there and it could sit for a while and then someone finds it somehow and it kind of takes off, or just out of nowhere it kind of spreads around and that sort of thing. So that could definitely happen as well. That's certainly something that is possible. So that's an upside to putting something out there, so amidst all the negatives that are there, that's a good thing that could possibly happen. So, I mean, this is why we continue to do it. But again, it's funny, is like once you're away from it for a while, I was making a lot of videos and playing other people's music and that sort of thing, you kind of forget. It's like that original music pitfall that you can fall into where it's really tough. I mean, most people these days don't care about music. It has to do with AI, Instagram, TikTok, all this kind of stuff, to where we're thinking of it in terms of like actual full records and full albums, and people don't really consume music that way. Nobody buys, I was going to say CDs, but I mean, that's even dating myself saying that. So it's just one of those things where I think some of us older people, we kind of think of things in the mindset of the way that we grew up, the way that things used to be, and they're not like that anymore. But you still want to play, you still want to be active, you still want to do certain things. So anyway, that's really my opinion on the matter. It's one of those things where I think it's still worth doing. It's just you can't really expect much after the creative process is over, which kind of sucks. I mean, it kind of stinks, but it is what it is. It's almost like the equivalent of going on stage to like 6 people. You still may enjoy yourself, but you say to yourself, well, there's more of us on stage than there is in the crowd. Was this really worth it? That sort of thing. So anyway, it's my 2 cents. It's my first video back. Look forward to make more. Still going to do some covers. Still going to do some of the videos that I used to do, the ones that actually got a decent amount of views. I'm still going to, do that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just figured I'd talk a little bit about this. It's a subject that I think applies to a lot of people who play music and that sort of thing. So thanks for your time. Take care. Hope to see you soon.